Welcome to my podcast where we're going to be talking about the relationship between social justice and education. Today, I am Kylie as your host, and we're going to be talking about anti-oppressive teaching in all subject areas, drawing on the work of Kevin K. Kumashiro, an activist and educator who is dedicated to challenging traditional school narratives in order to make a more diverse and powerful learning atmosphere for all those students around the world. From physics to math and social studies, English, and so much more, Kumashiro demonstrates how to question traditional teaching methods that promote cultural biases, and this helps prepare students with critical thinking and change-making skills when they need. Kumashiro encourages us to concrete on how students read rather than what they read. While teaching English literature, classics written by primarily white male authors traditionally focus on literature classes. Traditionally is what's the focus on literature classes. Despite their excellent writing, these books may not expose children to a wide variety of viewpoints. Kumashiro's answer was to present literature from an assortment of racial, gender, and cultural viewpoints and encourage students to consider the social norms that these works may support. Consider The Starfisher by Lawrence Yep, a book about a Chinese American family that experiences discrimination and loneliness in a predominantly white neighborhood. Instead of just summarizing the story, Kumashiro poses deeper questions, such as what racial preassumptions may affect your ideas of these characters. Do stereotypes influence how we perceive these characters and see people in real life? And by turning the emphasis to these important issues, students actively face their prejudices to learn and read against racism, transforming literature into means of adapting empathy and consciousness against other people and all those around us. Kumashiro challenges the idea that science is completely unbiased. He argues that cultural preassumptions and biases are reflected even in science education. Think of a lesson on how humans reproduce. It usually relates to the male-female perspective. However, this approach maintains outdated values by excluding intersex and non-binary individuals. According to Kumashiro, teaching science objectively requires acknowledging the limits and in developing in students a critical perspective on the knowledge as an illustration of how even scientific ideas are impacted by social narrative. Kumashiro asked students in middle school class to update a flowchart on reproduction and to put in non-binary identities. Students who question this not only learn science but also develop critical thinking skills regarding the stories science presents and potential viewers of that information it may leave out. The achievements of white, male, and wealthy individuals are often highlighted in traditional American history, while minorities are ignored. This viewpoint may unintentionally suggest that only some stories and lives are significant, while others may not be. Kumashiro promotes critically analyzing current stories rather than just adding disadvantaged tales. Questions like, how were Japanese affected by internment camps? Or what role did women play in the U.S. workforce during this period? Are examples on how students can go beyond this narrative and see the complexity of history when teaching about World War II. Students begin to view history as an intricate mix of experience rather than a single event by examining who benefits from civic narratives. Lastly, we move on to math, which is often the most objective topic. Kumashiro contends that cultural biases can often be reflected in math instruction from world scenarios that favor particular experiences to an overfocus on Western approaches the correct way to approach math. No. Suppose the students are working on independent data projects in the classroom, like comparing environmental elements in various communities. The teacher helps them think critically about how data might influence social narratives by guiding them to take in consideration facts like sample selection and questioning framing as they gather and evaluate data by demonstrating to children that even numbers have the ability to tell stories. This method helps math view as a tool and may support and contradict cultural biases. Kumashiro serves as a reminder that promoting critical thinking in all subject areas is more important for anti-oppressive education than simply including diverse content. Regardless of the subject matter, literature, science, history, or math, we can design classrooms that enable children to confront biases that exist, engage in critical thinking, and utilize their education as a tool for social change. Thank you for joining in on our podcast. Kumashiro's book, Against Common Sense, Teaching and Learning for Social Justice, offers more thoughts on what I was just talking about. That is where I got all my resources from the chapters of that book, chapters including 7, 8, 10, and 11. Until next time, never stop thinking and learning and asking questions, and never forget education is the path to universal equality. So keep them running and spreading a positive word. Thank you.